See, most alternative investment limited partnership holdings are illiquid. Admit to someone. Fund may be structured as a limit that can be publicly can their holdings to someone else. Funds are common in funds that specialize in natural resources or real estate. Fee structures. Total fees paid by investors in alternative investment fund often consist of a management fee that is typically 1 to 2% of funds assets and the performance fee or incentive fee, okay, called as carried interest. We have already discussed about this performance fee as well, right?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Then performance fees. So committed capital. So here that's what. Like now we'll discuss about some points. Fund manager earns the management fee regardless of investment performance. Does not matter because he's doing the AUM. Percent management. Fine. And for private equity funds, the management fee is calculated as a percentage of committed capital, not invested capital. We already discussed invested capital can be 10 lakhs. Committed is nothing but how much they are giving at once, correct? And they will be giving some funds later on as well, correct?
Yes, sir.
We have discussed, right?
Yes, sir.
So committed capital that has not yet been drawn down is referred to as dry powder. And the reason for basing management fee on committed capital is that otherwise the fund manager would have an incentive to invest capital quickly instead of selectively. So here we have time to see how he is performing, correct? And then we slowly can give him the fees for his for his management. Performance fee are a portion of profits on fund investments. Most often partnership agreement will specify a hurdle rate, that is minimum rate is what we want. Okay, it can be hard or soft. Soft hurdle rate is met. Performance fees are a percentage of total increase in the value of each partner's investment. With the hurdle rate, performance fee are based only on gains above the hurdle rate, hard hurdle rate. So what is soft hurdle rate? Performance fees are a percentage of total increase in the value of each partner's investment. That means how much the partner's investment have increased. On that they'll be getting a fees. Hard hurdle is nothing but after reaching the minimum returns. See, minimum returns is what we expect, but increase in the value is also a factor, right? For example, consider a fund with hurdle rate of 8%. That's the minimum returns we want. That has produced a return of 12% for the year. We will use performance fee structure of 20% of gains. If the 8% is soft hurdle rate, the performance fee will be 20% of the entire 12% or 2.4%. What did you understand with this? We want to give 20% performance fee, okay, on gains. So how much is the gain you made out of this? 4%, correct?
Yes, sir.
So if 8% is the soft hurdle rate, the performance fee will be 20% of entire 12% or 2.4%. If the 8% is the hard hurdle rate, performance fee will be 20% of gains above hurdle rate, that is the 4%, that would be 0.8. So what is soft hurdle rate? If you cross the hurdle rate, whatever the returns you have made right now, of that will be giving you 20%. Hard hurdle rate is a little bit more harder thing. Whatever is above the hurdle rate, that will be giving you, okay?
Yes, sir.
Performance fees are paid at the end of each year based on the increase in the value of fund investment after management fees and other charges, which may include consulting and monitoring fees that are charged to individual portfolio companies. Catch-up clause in a partnership agreement is based on hurdle rate and is similar to its effect to a soft hurdle rate. Consider a fund with returns of 14%, a hurdle rate of 8% and 20% for performance fee. So they got this much. This is the hurdle rate and this is the fees. Catch-up clause would result in first 8% of gains going to the limited partners and the next 2% going to the general partner, allowing the general partner to receiving percent of the first 10% of gains. So what is that? This is what does it mean? See, there's a fund which has given a returns of 14%, right? So if
Yes.
the hurdle rate is 8% and 20% is the performance fee, what is happening? The catch-up clause would result in the first 8% of gains. So first 8% is the hurdle rate. Okay, going to the limited partners. So whatever the gains the company has made, that has to be given to whom? To the limited partners. That has to be shared with whom? Limited partners, correct?
Yes, sir.
That belongs to them. Next 2% going to general partner,
Yes.
allowing the general partner to catch up to receiving 20% of the first 10% of gains. After the catch up, further gains are split 80-20 between general limited partners and general partners. These people are having more number, correct?
Yes, sir.
That's what. The rest leftover is 4%, right? That will be split as 80-20. So 3.2 and 0.80.
Okay.
Another feature that is often. Did you understand, Bhargav?
Yes, sir.
Now, another
Then
feature,
what's the difference between soft hurdle rate and catch-up clause?
it is different, right? In soft hurdle rate, you can compare the difference. You just give a reading.
Uh, if a
Just give a
soft
reading.
if a soft hurdle
In
rate,
soft hurdle rate, what is happening? If 8% is the soft hurdle rate we have put, okay? So 12% is the return. On this entirely, they are giving 20% as the performance fees.
okay. Yes.
In that catch-up clause, 8%, whatever the 8% gains go. See, these gains belong to whom? Limited partners.
Yes, sir.
And then the fund manager is the one who should get the performance fee, right?
Yes.
So, going to LPs and next 2%. Next 2% going to general partner.
Oh, yes, I understood. I understood.
And then receiving 20% of the first 10% of gains. That means
Understood.
again on, yeah, that's what, 20% on 10%. High watermark clause, which means no performance fees is paid on gains that only offset prior losses. So for this, what will I do is, I'll just show you a link. There's an example here. High watermark clause. Assume an investor is invested in a hedge fund that charges 20% performance fee, which is quite typical in the industry. You get very good returns from hedge funds. Assume the investor places 500,000 into the fund, and during the first month, the fund earns 15%. So the fund value is 5,75,000. Investor owes a 20% fee on this 75,000 gain, which equates to $15,000. They have to give, right? Hello. They have to give the fee to whom? The fund manager.
Fund manager.
20% of 75,000.
Okay.
Yeah, 20. This is what generally typically the fund manager would charge. Okay. And in hedge funds, as they promise very high returns, they charge 20% of the performance fee. So 15,000 they are supposed to get. At this point, the high watermark for this particular investor is 5,75,000, and the investor is obligated to pay 15,000 to the portfolio manager. Next, let's say fund loses 20%. Investor's account drops to 460. We will again gains, but you should not be paying the fees until and unless they cross the 575 limit, which already they have given you. So this is where the importance of high water mark is noted. A performance fee does not have to be paid on any gains from 460 to 575, only after high water mark amount, which is 575. Assume that in the third month the fund unexpectedly earns a profit of 50%. In this unlikely case, the value of the investor rises from 460 to 690. So without a high watermark in place, the investor owes the original 15,000 plus 20% of the gain from 460 to 690, correct? Already he has paid 15,000 and then from this to this, which equates to 20% on a gain of 230, that is 46, correct or wrong?
Yes, sir.
But what happens? The high watermark prevents this double fee. So first let him come from 460 to 575, for which he has already got the money, correct?
Yes.
He has already got the money for making the fund to gain 75, right? For fall,
Yes.
why should we pay? And until and unless he reaches from 460 to 575, we
Okay.
are not going to give him any from here to here. He is not doing us a favor. He is again reaching to the same point where we were. Correct.
Yes.
This cannot be considered as a gain. So in this example, would the original beyond the original 15,000 performance fee, this investor owes 20% of the gains from 575 to 690, which is additional 23, not
Yes.
46, correct?
Yes.
Are you understanding?
Yes, sir.
Only 38,000 has to be paid.
Understood. So if it was a normal case, they would have to pay 46,000. But
Yes.
in the high watermark case,
Now,
they will only
now
pay
30.
38,000.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, sir.
Otherwise, they have to pay that 46 and 15, 61.
Yes.
That's so some protection to the investors, because many people would not be knowing about all these points. Next, I'll give the example of clawback and waterfall also. We will wind up that one. See, you know this waterfall, right? So a distribution waterfall is a popular term in equity investing that refers to the way in which capital gains of a fund are allocated between the participants in an investment, typically the limited partners and general partners. Of course, this is the way the things are distributed. Return on capital, 90% goes to LP, 10% goes to GP, correct? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Bhargav, are you
Yes, sir.
following?
Yes, I'm following.
This is waterfall. This is what distribution waterfall. You know, like here to here to here, the water falls in this way, right? So
Yes, sir.
return on capital is nothing but whatever you have invested, you've got some return. So 90% goes to LP and 10% to GP. Preferred return. That means your some hurdle rate, right? And 85 goes to LP, 15 to GP. Catch up. We already discussed about catch up, right?
Yes, sir.
Catch up clause, 8% was the hurdle, extra 2% he got, and then that 20% the GP should get and 80% should go to LP.
Yes, sir.
Come on. And then carried interest, 70-30, and then final distribution over 13%, 60-40. So as the returns are going on, increasing, who is getting more?
Managing director, managing partner.
GP, yes. The general partner. Okay?
Yes.
Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's very simple one. Clawback. Clawback is nothing but if at all is not performing, he has to pay. Who? The manager.
Okay.
Yeah, that's clawback. I'll just show. See, listen here. Earlier in 2014, Yahoo issued a disclosure stating that hackers stole data on 500 million users. Again, in December 2016, Yahoo announced that data theft might have affected more than a billion accounts. He showed us losing over 350 million due to these breaches. The US Securities and Exchange Commission examined whether Yahoo employees hid data breaches from their customers and shareholders. Yahoo did have a clawback provision covering CEO Marissa Mayer's pay in it. Who is responsible for all this? CEO, right?
Yes.
Under CEO, the company has to be managed properly, but CEO is not managing. That's the reason why these kind of things are happening. However, the company implemented the policy only in reporting incorrect financials, basically only in case of accounting fraud. So it implied that clause doesn't cover these hack incidents, and Marissa Mayer might come out safe. In the sense, clawback was only on financial accounting fraud, not in other things. Did you understand? Otherwise, she would have paid from her salary. That is clawback provision. You can read this. Clawback provision stipulates that if GP accrues or receives incentives, payments, or gains that are subsequently reversed as partnership exit deals, the LPs can recover previous excess incentive payments. That means if he is not performing, they can take the money, right? With a
Yes.
deal by deal waterfall, successful deals might be exited initially, while losses are realized later. A clawback provision would allow the LPs to recover these performance fees to the extent that the subsequent losses negate prior gains on which performance fees has been paid. That means if they have lost some money, that means we saw that, right, 460, it has gone down. So the clawback provision would make the GP to pay back that one. If he has to do that. Are you understanding?
Yes, sir.
So here you can see Wells Fargo paid a fine of $185 million for engaging in fraud over the years. In 2016, it included opening credit cards without a customer's consent, creating fake email accounts to sign up customers for online banking services, my God, and forcing customers to accumulate late fees on accounts they never even knew they had. In addition, Wells Fargo fired 5,000 employees in relation to the scam. So, Wells Fargo announced on Tuesday that it could claw back compensation valued of $41 million from its embattled chairman and chief executive John G. Stump as financial consequences of the scandal over illegally created sham accounts at the bank reached the executive suite. That means they have to pay now. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
It would claw back compensation. That means what they have paid to them, these people have to pay back for that point of time. Why? Because they did all these scams happened under them. Fine. This is as
Yes.
per the Sarbanes-Oxley Act in United States. Done?
Yes.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Hello. Hello.